Hello and welcome to OurVentura.com. I'm your host, Frank Malle, and today we'll be talking about Toastmasters International. You know, it's been said that the brain starts working the moment we are born and keeps on working right up to the moment that you are asked to stand up and speak in public. With us today is Jan Lewis, a member of the Ojai Toastmasters Club, and she will tell us how she overcame her fears of speaking in public. Jan, welcome. Welcome to OurVentura.com. Tell us, I understand that it was in a first grade Christmas play that you had your first speaking experience, and, well, you tell us about it.
Well, it was very exciting to be chosen to be in the play, and I had a speaking part, which was also very exciting at 6 years old.
Which part did you play?
I played the angel, and I had something to say, and my older sister was instructed to coach me and to make sure that I knew my lines.
Okay.
And the day after I got the part, she sat me down, we practiced the lines, and she reported to my mother that I knew my lines. The only problem was the play wasn't for 6 more weeks. So the day, or rather the night of the play, I couldn't remember a thing. And the prompter had to say all my lines. So it was devastating.
Was the prompter your teacher?
No. The prompter was another student.
Nevertheless, it was a humiliating experience.
It was humiliating. It was a frozen moment, something that I'd never forgotten.
And this is why it's said that people's worst fear, even greater than the fear of death, is the fear of getting up and speaking in public. So imagine somebody would rather be the corpse inside the casket rather than give the eulogy.
Yes.
That's pretty frightening.
Pretty serious.
So how was it that you came to grips with this?
Well, over time I was forced into speaking, but never really comfortable with it. In business, I had to speak several times. One occasion that I specifically remember, I had to give a presentation to a very large group in a very large auditorium, and it went okay because I don't remember any of it. So it didn't create an additional fear, but I completely blanked out. So it wasn't something that was a positive thing. And so over time, I simply forced myself painfully to do the things that I had to do in public speaking. Speaking one-on-one is no problem, speaking 1 to 5 is no problem, but speaking 1 to 200 is just earth-shattering for me, or was.
Now, in speaking with you earlier, you had mentioned that you were so uptight about this and so frightened at the prospect of having to speak in front of these people. Now, you were in the corporate world at, I believe, Bank of America?
Correct.
Okay. Tell me how you found out about Toastmasters and what intrigued you to go.
Well, I do a lot of business reading, and in one of my business books, written by Jeffrey Gittimer, who is a very experienced speaker and a member of Toastmasters, he mentioned that Toastmasters was a great way to network. He didn't address it as being a way to become a better speaker. He simply said in his little black book of networking that it was a great way to meet people. It was a great way to perhaps increase the size of your scope of meeting clients. And so I looked up Toastmasters on the internet. I had been invited a couple of times by a couple of friends in Ojai, but I hadn't accepted, and part of the reason was because they met so early in the morning. But I made up my mind I was going to do it. And so I looked it up. I found the meeting, I found the place, I made the contact, I showed up.
And you are now an active member in that Ojai Club.
I love it.
And I understand worldwide, there are 116,000 clubs.
Amazing.
Serving 270,000, that's over 250,000 people.
Truly amazing.
In 116 countries. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Yes.
So what is your experience personally and professionally so far? Now, you're really a novice in Toastmasters.
Correct.
You've been involved how long?
I joined in May and I believe at this point I've completed 7 of my assignments.
Now, I believe in the first book is the Competent Communicator book.
Correct.
And in that book, there are 10 assignments.
Correct.
Subsequently, they get into more advanced manuals.
Correct.
That deal with not just public speaking, but also they get into speech, storytelling, interpersonal communication, business presentations. Are you ready to go the whole hog?
I am. Each assignment has been really fun, and I think part of the reason is because of the support that you get at the club. It's kind of scary to walk into a room of strangers and take on this challenge, but fortunately when I walked in, I knew a couple of the people there, but the formula of support is very encouraging because there's a very friendly attitude. It's not demeaning in any way. I've watched our club welcome people whose attempts at speaking in the beginning were very ragged at best. And through encouragement and through help and just finding their good points and really giving them praise. And we have what we call the praise sandwich. When you're evaluated, and that's part of the meeting, there will be an evaluator for each speaker. And the praise sandwich is finding, first of all, something very good about the presentation. Second of all, finding maybe some small thing to critique that needs improvement, and then ending with praise. And I believe that formula, psychologically, it's very encouraging, because to have someone stand up there who you really respect and tell you did a good job and just give you a small amount of advice on how you might improve, it really you build on that. You really have you really gain momentum, you gain in your courage, and I believe you become a better speaker from that.
Well, that's amazing, and I believe that is indeed the main objective of Toastmasters International, to foster better speaking and listening skills, communication skills, and leadership skills as well.
Yes.
So evaluations of the speakers is just as an important factor in the Toastmaster environment as the speech itself, is it not?
It is. It's very important, because an evaluator can crush you, or an evaluator can build you up. And at Toastmasters, it seems that all evaluations are there for the benefit of the speaker. In other words, there's no contest, there's no benefit to not helping the speaker. Everyone who's there wants to help the speaker. There's a great deal of applause, there's a great deal of cheering. Our club does a great deal of laughing, where it's a very family orientation.
Even at 6:30 in the morning?
Even at 6:30 in the morning, because it seems that the people that are there really are morning people. And all clubs don't meet at 6:30 in the morning. Some are dinner oriented, some are just get together at different hours of the day. So each club in a different locale pretty much decides what time they wish to meet. And I think really they attract people based on what time they meet, because some people obviously just couldn't do it at 6:30. I didn't think I could do it at 6:30, but what I have found is I want to be there so badly that 6:30 is easy now. It's not difficult to get there at 6:30. It's so much fun. It really is.
Now, I've noticed that you have a pin. Is that a Toastmaster pin you're wearing?
It is. That's my membership pin.
So that represents what?
It represents being accepted into the club.
And then after you get through the first 10 speeches in the first manual, you will get another pin? Is that how it goes?
I presume.
Okay.
I presume.
So how far away are you from completing your first manual?
I believe I have 3 more assignments to complete.
And how do you go about picking a topic? I mean, this is one thing why people are afraid to speak in public. They say, well, what am I going to talk about?
Well, Frank, I find that I first read what the assignment is, and then I read what the evaluation is to be based on. And I try to pick a topic that will express, that will meet the goal, first of all, but then also something that I'll be comfortable with. And I must admit that I have been very careful not to pick topics that I wouldn't be comfortable with. I have picked topics that were full of statistics, and I found that those weren't as much fun. too much detail kind of distracts you from the fun of speaking, but it is necessary sometimes to convey detail. So I have done both. I've done the speaking where it's just pretty much a fun story, and I've done the speaking where the story absolutely had to have the detail. I did a speech about the breaking of the San Francisco Dam, St. Francis Dam, and there were many details that I had to include in that. But I found that the audience was not as receptive, and they seem to like speeches better when they are more casual and less statistical. So that was a learning experience for me.
Now, so you're saying that the atmosphere there in Toastmasters is very supportive and encouraging. Now, but there is also a very competitive side of Toastmasters, yes?
Well,
what I'm referring to is that they sponsor speech contests.
Yes.
Both locally and districtly and nationally and internationally.
Yes, and at each meeting, they do vote for the best speaker, the best table topics person, and the best evaluator. So we do compete, but it's such a friendly competition. And our club did compete in the recent area speech contest, and we all worked so hard to help those who were presenting as speakers and helping and presenting as evaluators. So even though it is competitive, it's very supportive. It's not scary competition.
You mentioned a word, table topics. Now, our viewers may not be familiar with just what that is. Part of Toastmasters is speaking speeches, presenting speeches, but it's also speaking extemporaneously at times, and this comes under the term table topics. Can you tell us about that?
Table topics is really fun because the table topics master gets to call on people in the audience, members, visitors, and ask them to speak. And the table topics master can ask you to speak on anything. It could be, what would be your favorite career if you could choose anything under the sun? Or tell us about a bad experience, or tell us about something that was really embarrassing. And you must speak for 2 minutes. Doesn't always have to be the truth. You can kind of make things up as you go along.
Okay.
And it's really very entertaining. And the fun thing is, when guests are called on and they speak, it seems like by drawing them in and having them participate, they become more a part of the club. I think I've watched, and those guests who came and were invited and did speak during table topics, they came back. So I think part of the goal of bringing in new members is to encourage them to participate, and then just drawing them in that way.
Terrific. Well, it's been very informative and very much fun talking with you. I want to thank you for joining us. I'm your host for OurVentura.com, Frank Malle.